Welcome back to another episode of CBB Review Courtside. Today with us, we have the head coach of Ball State, Michael Lewis. Before we get into this interview, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, CBB Review. Give us a follow at CBB Review on X and on Instagram. And if you didn't check out our last interview, it was with Jamison Battle, new player for Ohio State, just transferred over from Minnesota to the Buckeyes. So we talked with him about that, and I think you'll want to hear it. But again, Michael Lewis here with us from Ball State. Coach, first off, thanks for joining us today. And, how you doing with the season only about, at this point, just a little bit over a month away until college basketball returns?
Well, I appreciate you having me. We just finished up our fourth practice. So, we're still trying to figure it out. We're trying to bring 8 new guys together. Trying to figure out the best way that they fit, and it's been a lot of fun. Obviously, with the start of the season, guys have a lot of energy, and there hasn't been a ton of adversity. Nobody's lost, nobody started a game, nobody's come off the bench, anything like that. So the guys have been good. I like the pieces that we have. We're just, we're very different than we were a year ago. We're young. We got 5 freshmen, 3 transfers. And so just putting those guys in with the returning guys, and our returners have been good with leadership and kind of how we do things and what our expectations are. And so it's been a fun group to work with so far.
Yeah, of course, we will get into all of that as this episode unfolds. For the people listening, watching, Ball State went 20-12 last year, 11-7 in the MAC. That was Coach Lewis's first season with the Cardinals as the head coach. So a big first year. It was their most wins in a season since the 2016-17 year. When you look back, Coach, on last year, did it – I know you obviously have high expectations, but do you think that you guys exceeded the expectations that you had going in?
Well, I certainly didn't take this job with the idea of losing in mind. And, like I referred when I took this job back to what Ball State was when I was coming out of high school and college. I graduated high school in 96, 2000 was in college. Those guys were winning MAC championships, going to NCAA tournaments. That's what I remember Ball State basketball being. Now, obviously, I think it's been since 2000, since the last NCAA trip. And we're trying to fix that and rebuild this program into, where you're competing every year for an opportunity. But no, I took this job because I believe that we could win basketball games here. I believe that we can put a quality product on the floor. I think basketball is important here in the state of Indiana. I think we've got an outstanding recruiting base. I think our university has enough that we can sell that attracts young men here to Muncie. And then obviously I think that, the program that we want to build will speak for itself. Our player development is very evident with 3 guys off last year's team, now in 2 in the Big Ten and 1 in the Big 12. So, guys within our program get better. And I think that's, should be something on everybody's priority list when you're looking for a school.
Coach, obviously Ball State takes you as, your first job as a head coach, but you come in with years of experience as an assistant coach at Butler with Brad Stevens, at UCLA with Mick Cronin. You've coached alongside some great college basketball, minds. What have you learned from them that have kind of helped you so far in this job with Ball State?
Well, they all tell you, like, each one to a man, whether it was, Tim Miles or Cronin or Brad or Chris Holtman, like, no, that next seat is different. You're like, come on, you never fully buy it, but it is different. Now, I do feel like, I'm happy with the way that my career played out to get here, because I do feel like I was as prepared as I possibly could be for this opportunity. But it is different, and it's a different role. But like I said, one that I feel like I was prepared for, and one that I hope, here in year 2, I hope I'm a better coach in year 2 than I was in year 1. And I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to be able to do it in a state that I grew up in and that I call home.
Now we're going to get into, the expectations for this season in a little bit. I want to hit on one more thing before we do that. You've obviously coached alongside some pretty legendary coaches, but you played under one of the most legendary coaches in college basketball history in Bobby Knight. I know that everyone has their own stories of Bobby. I'm sure, that's a whole other episode on its own, but, if you could sum it up, what was it like playing under Coach Knight at Indiana?
I'll say this, like I think each one of us as former players we have our own personal relationship with Coach. I was able to play for him and then was a GA for him for 2 years down at Texas Tech. And, I say this a lot out speaking because it's a question everybody wants to know. I absolutely loved my college experience. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Coach Knight wasn't the whole experience, but he obviously was a major part of that experience. And I know how I feel about him and what he did to help prepare me for life and being successful in life. And I hope that the kids that I get to coach feel about me and their situation, their opportunity, and their experience here the same way that I do about my experience at Indiana.
I think that's a good testament to it all. Obviously, winning a priority, but it's a lot more than that if you're a college basketball head coach. Again, Michael Lewis here with us, head coach of the Ball State Cardinals, and joining us on CBB Review Courtside. Again, we mentioned that first season, you guys go 20-12, 11-7 in conference. You guys had a guy named Peyton Sparks, obviously a pretty talented player who is now transferred over to Indiana in the Big Ten. Just having Peyton Sparks on your team, and I know you had a ton of other talent as well. It wasn't just him, but someone like that is now going to be playing power conference basketball. What does it mean what did that mean for you guys last year, just having that type of talent on the court?
Well, he was a good young player. I don't, he was a guy that, I'm not sure was looked at that level when he came out of high school. He had a good freshman year. I think we were able to build on that freshman year last year as a sophomore. I think he grew in his efficiency as an offensive player, his shooting percentages. He cut down on his turnovers. He became a better passer. He learned how to play out of double teams. The thing that he was 6'7", 6'8", 250 pounds. Like he was able to bully guys around in our league. And we had to play him 30-plus minutes a game. I think I'm not sure he's going to be asked for that type of contribution from Indiana, but it may help him playing in shorter bursts because he plays extremely hard. He got a lot of things accomplished for us and played a major role in us having success and kind of resetting the standard of play here at Ball State. And, I think last year's group, the main thing that they did was they created excitement across our university. I think it created excitement here in Muncie and across the state for Ball State basketball that they haven't seen here in a long time. And now it's our job to continue to build upon that.
Yeah, of course, Sparks again on to Indiana, but he's not the only key player that you guys lose. Top 4 scorers all gone from last season. It's a totally new team in year 2 at Ball State. I mean, when you look at, you come into year 1, it's a whole new year for you. Now you got to, redo it all in year 2. But that's kind of the way college basketball is going to nowadays in the transfer portal. But when you do look at really a brand new slate this year, what are some of the positives of this team? Because obviously people like me, you look at Ball State, we're really not sure what to expect.
Well, yeah, I think, the guys that you're alluding to now, are 2 in the Big Ten, 1 in the Big 12. They're not only playing at the highest level of basketball for them, they're also getting paid a lot of money, right? I mean, let's call it what it is. Like, the NIL has changed the game. It's, it's pay for play now. You can call it whatever you want, but it is pay for play, and those guys have those opportunities. And, you can't fault the kids for making the decisions that they're making. They've got opportunities in front of them, and they got to try to take advantage of it while they can. And does it reflect, how does it, help us? Like, I'm not, we got to be able to reload, and we got to be able to kind of navigate these waters, and do what's best for Ball State. And so, this year, year 2, like we've got 5 freshmen, 3 transfers, 8 new guys, like I said, and we got to blend those guys together. So I hope we look very different in February than we do here in November. I think last year coming in as this new staff, we tried to set expectations of what we see winning basketball being. To those guys' credit, they bought in with a bunch of guys that really hadn't won at this level before, had an outstanding year, and were able to do some great things for the university. We've got to continue to build on that. I think we can attract good talent. The timing of some of that, obviously, it wasn't the most beneficial for us. But we're going to have good basketball teams here at Ball State, and we got to find our own niche. And I think we're working on figuring out exactly what that is and how to best take advantage of it.
Yeah, of course, really a brand new team. You went to the portal, got a couple transfers, a lot of freshmen on this Ball State team. In the changing age of college basketball, where the portal's kind of taken over, NIL, everything, how do you attack it as a coach? Like, do you have a specific game plan of what you want to build this Ball State team with? I know some coaches prefer the portal. Some coaches want to go back and say, no, we want to bring in freshmen and do it that way. Like, do you have a preference?
Well, I think you got to ideally, I think you got to have a good mix. I think the freshmen that we have, they've got a great opportunity in front of them, because when those freshmen decided to come to Ball State, they had 2 all-conference perimeter players sitting on the roster, and they're now going to be thrust, into playing major minutes and having to be able to contribute at a high level. That's great for their development. How that reflects in wins and losses for us is yet to be seen, but I think it's outstanding for their development. They'll become better players quicker because they're going to be thrown in the fire. Are they ready for that after 4 practices? I would say no, but it's our job as a staff to kind of help them best get prepared for what's in front of them. And like I said, I like where we can be maybe in February compared to what we're going to look like in November. Because each one of those 5 freshmen, they'll have a moment every day that they look like all right, that's what it's supposed to look like. And then the next possession, they may look like a freshman. You're like, oh my God, what are we going to do with these guys? But that's kind of the fun thing about, I think, this team is we get to coach and teach, and you've got guys that coming in that they're about learning, they're about competing. And I think it's a good mix. We just got to help these guys grow together.
Coach, again, thanks for joining us here on CBB Review Courtside. We've talked a little bit about the freshmen, the transfers, but I want to know about your goals for this team. You mentioned at the start of this podcast that it's about winning. You didn't take this job with the expectation that you weren't going to win. That's the number one priority for you. Do you think that, through 4 practices, I know that's really not a fair assessment, but I mean, are you confident that this team is trending upward after last year's 20-win season?
Well, I don't know. That's a big number. Like you're talking about something that hadn't happened around here in a long time. Like, I think it was only the 13th time in over 102 years. So it's not like they were racking up 20-win seasons around Muncie, that often. But I do think this. I think what we look like November 7th compared to what we look like at the end of February will be vastly different. I'm going to measure our growth a lot on that. And how does that equate to wins and losses? I mean, nobody knows. But I like the makeup of this team. We will compete. We will play hard, and we will be tough. And if we can put ourselves in a position at the under 4 timeout to have a chance to win, I like our chances.
100%, Coach. Again, Ball State, good season last year. We'll see if they can follow it up again in the always exciting MAC. I know it's not a Power 6 conference, but Coach, it's one of the great.
Obviously, like, there's good players. There's 15 all-conference players. 12 of them are no longer with us. They either graduated playing professionally or transferred to Power 5 leagues. So there's good players, and there's some excellent basketball coaches in this league. There's not a night off. You got to show up and compete. And I think if you're a college basketball player or a coach, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, we had Jim Whitesell on the show a few years ago. Obviously, UB had quite a run for a while out of the MAC, and Ball State hoping to do the same. Coach, again, pleasure having you on here, CBB Review Courtside, and hope to talk to you soon. And good luck the rest of the way.
Anytime, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
100%. And again, for you guys at home, make sure to subscribe. And as always, let us know who you want to hear on the show next. Talk to you next time.